Hi, and welcome to Life Interrupted. This podcast deals with death and grief. The stories and interviews are all real, so it may cause some emotional triggering for you. So please be advised before listening to this or watching this podcast. So, in a prior podcast, we spoke about the effects of grief on our brain. So, now let's talk about the effects of grief on our body. So our body sees emotional trauma as a threat to our survival. Our body goes into that fight, flight, or freeze, or even fawn position. Fawn is when a person attempts to appease, please, or placate others in order to avoid conflict or harm or even rejection. It's often rooted in fear, with the subconscious belief that staying safe means keeping others happy. And anything that triggers our grief puts us back into that fight, flight, freeze, or fawn state. And I know that people with PTSD understand that feeling because your body goes right into your heart, starts pumping, you start sweating, all of those things that you initially experienced when you had that emotional trauma, you experience again with every single trigger. With an emotional trauma, part of our heart swells and can restrict the flow of blood and can cause a heart attack. This is commonly called broken heart syndrome. And people over 65 after experiencing the loss of a loved one or a traumatic event has a 21 times higher risk of heart attack. That's why you see when these older couples who've been married for a long time lose their spouse within a few months. I've even heard as quickly as a month will actually experience that broken heart syndrome and will pass away soon after their loved one died. Then there's crying, which crying is normal. Of course, it's a normal response for an emotional event. But there are three types of tears that our ducts produce. There are basal tears, which is the normal moisture that our ducts produce to keep our eyes wet. There are reflex tears, which are produced to wash out irritants or foreign objects. And then there are emotional tears, which of course are produced by strong emotions, both positive and negative. These types of tears will help with healing and can be cathartic. They release oxytocin and endorphins, which are natural pain relievers. Emotional trauma can also decrease our senses. It can affect our sense of smell and taste, and that's why food becomes tasteless. And one of the doctors that I was reading about experienced a woman who actually, when she ignored the traumatic event that she was going through, which was the death of a child, she actually lost her hearing. And when she finally learned to deal with it, her hearing came back. It's amazing. Emotional trauma can also cause an increase or loss of appetite. It slows the digestion, which can cause weight loss if we don't eat and weight gain if we overeat during those times of emotional trauma. It can also cause insomnia. It actually causes an increase in cortisol, which is a stress hormone, which is what gets released in that fight, flight, freeze, or fawn reaction. And cortisol affects the hippocampus portion of our brain, which is where our memories are stored and retrieved. This is why we have trouble remembering things, recalling things after a traumatic event. I can't tell you how many friends and people I've spoken to who have told me that they're normally very clear-headed. They normally remember things, and after that, they can't remember. They feel very scattered, and that is the effects. One of the effects of cortisol in the body after a traumatic event. Grief can also cause a weakened immune system, which opens us up to all kinds of infections. And vaccines are also less effective because our bodies are not creating as many antibodies. Headaches and body aches are also common due to inflammation caused by the effects of grief. We can also have an increase in blood pressure, which can increase the chance of blood clots. We can also become numb or disconnected when we deny or do not face up to the loss. So with all of that, with all these effects on the body, what can we do to help? We can cry. As we talked about, tears produce oxytocin and endorphins, which help with healing and pain. And sometimes our crying cannot be at that moment, because if we have a trigger, then we may want to cry at that moment. It may not be the most appropriate moment to cry. So I know with me, I have actually stifled my tears and then waited until a more opportune time, and then thought about that trigger again to cause that reaction so that I can cry when I'm alone or when I'm with someone I feel safe with. So the important thing is not to put it off, not to put it off for too long, because if you put it off, then you actually will just stop. And that's actually just avoiding it. And I know I'd spoken to other people who put off their grieving. They keep busy, keeping their minds on other things, and it doesn't help. So cry when you get the opportunity, when you have the time. Get alone or get with someone you feel safe with and cry. Tears are very healing. We can also journal, write about these things, write about our feelings and emotions. That actually helps to release some of that stress, release that cortisol, get our body to produce it. And because journaling is just for you, then it's a safe place for you to write everything out. It's only for you. You're the only one that's going to read it unless you let someone else read it. So you don't have to censor yourself. I know for me, I put everything out on Facebook. I wanted to, because I was putting daily devotionals up anyways. I'd done that for a long time. That was my way of journaling, so I can go back and read my prior posts and know what's going on, or know what was going on at the time. And that actually, I'm thankful I did that, because that has helped a lot of other people. And I've had people reach out to me because of that, because they know that I lost my husband and that I did process this stuff. And so they come to me with some questions about their own grief or trying to help a friend. So be sure to journal about your emotions, cry, and then go talk to someone. Seek out grief counseling, seek out grief support groups. There are a lot of people out there hurting that need someone to listen, and go talk to someone. And if you don't want to be around people, let me tell you, this is the age of technology. Psychiatrists and psychologists, therapists will do things online for you now. You can have virtual appointments. So you don't have to ever leave your house if you don't want to. But the most important thing is that we need to be talking about, we need to be processing it. And then, of course, we all know the things we need to do for our body just to maintain our health. But it's so much more important when we're going through that grieving process, which is to rest, to eat well, and go out and have a good time. I know that people have like survivor's guilt. People feel bad for continuing to do things after they've lost someone. So I know it was weird for me, because I had ordered a VR headset before my husband passed, and then it sat in the box for like weeks. And then finally I looked at it and went, well, I got to open it. It's under warranty. I got to at least check it out to make sure it works and operates correctly. And so I got on it and I bought some games and I started gaming, and I felt bad about that, because I lost my husband, but here I am playing video games. Well, number one, it gives your body a respite from all the grief that you've been suffering, all the tears, all the pain, and it gives your mind something else to think on. And if it's something that you've always enjoyed doing, if it's something that you have that's part of your routine, that actually helps to ground you. That helps you to feel better. And soon after I lost, like days after I lost my husband, I started back. Because I work mostly from home. I did some work from home, and my boss said, "What are you doing working?" I said, "My stepson was going through the house and doing things with the house, and my husband's belongings and things. So he was helping me, and I don't have anything to do until the funeral. I don't have anything to do right now. So I've got to ground myself. And for me, working was very grounding. It took my mind off of it for a little while, and it helped my brain to do something that was normal for me. So getting out there, doing those things that you love doing, that you still probably love doing. Yes, it may be a trigger and it may hurt, because it did for me. And some of the things that I love to do, I did them with my late husband. But it also helps. It helps you to feel better. It helps to get your mind off of that, even if it's just temporarily. It's okay to have those breaks, to have those moments of just continuing to live, because you know what? We are still alive. We still have to take care of ourselves. We still have to rest. We still have to eat. We still have to interact with people around us. There are people around us who still need us. Our friends, our family, our community, they still need us. And we're still here. So we still need to do things that keep us alive. Eat, sleep, drink water. I know it sounds crazy, but during these traumatic things, there are some people who tell me they have to remember to brush their teeth. So if you have to, make a list of things that you need to do every day and do them. It will get you back into the habit, and it will help you feel more grounded. So don't feel bad. I know it's easier said than done. Don't feel bad about continuing to live your life. They're in a better place. They have gone to their reward. And we still have to live in this broken world. We still have to survive. We still have to be aware. So make sure that you aren't just surviving. Make sure you are thriving. The best thing you can do to honor your loved ones and those who have gone on before you is to live the best life that you can. Don't dishonor your feelings. Don't dishonor them. Don't negate your feelings or belittle your feelings or whatever they did. Honor them by living your best life. So on Monday, July 28th, my ebook is coming out. It's called Know Before You Go. And it is just kind of a guide to talk about those things that we need to be doing now before we pass away. And it talks about things to expect if you're planning a funeral or if you're planning a funeral after your loved one has passed. And then it talks about things you need to be doing after a loved one has passed. So it's available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. It's an ebook, so it's digital only, and it's $5.99. And if you also like to reach out to me, my website is lifeinterrupted1.com. And of course, there's Life Interrupted E1 on Facebook and TikTok. And if you need to talk to somebody, I'm here. I can be here to talk to you. Again, I am not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a grief counselor. I'm just someone who has lost other people and want to help others go through their grief journey. All right. Thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And I hope that everyone has a great day. You're going to get through it. You will get through it. Trust me. It's just a matter of when you process it, whether you process it now or later. But you'll get through it. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.